You are welcome to Unit 1, Assessing Leader Funds. This is an introduction to leader funding and the process of application. This unit is one of a range provided through the Micro project focused on supporting rural and craft type entrepreneurs. It is a European Union Erasmus Plus project with 5 partners who are developing educational artifacts that support rural entrepreneurs. This unit will look at leader funding and the application process. It is prepared by Siobhan Kinahan of Irish World Link and Michael Kenny of Maynooth University. This presentation has audio files embedded in the slides. That means you can now listen to an English commentary on the slide content. To listen, you will require either earphones or speakers. There will be 20 slides in this presentation. It will go on for approximately 15 minutes, and we will discuss the benefits of this presentation to you following. So the expected learning outcomes are that you will know what is leader, that you will know who and what leader funds, and you will know the 4 stages in a leader project application. Finally, at the end, we will have a short exercise to check your knowledge if you wish to take it. I hope you find this content interesting. Leader is liaison entre actions du développement de l'économie rurale, or in English, liaison among actors in rural economic development. It was established by the European Commission in 1991 with the notion of promoting social inclusion, poverty reduction and economic development in rural areas. So this is a program focused on supporting rural development. Leader is a community-led local development approach, so it is a bottom-up, engaging community approach. It is not a top-down approach. That's why the local action groups that we will discuss later are important. Leader is delivered through each country's rural development program. Currently it is 2014 to 2020, and the purpose of Leader is to deliver European funding matched by some national funding to rural businesses and rural communities. The basic Leader structure is presented in this slide. Firstly, we have the local action group, or LAG. This is a group who have overall responsibility for delivering Leader program in the area, and is usually made up of a mix of statutory, local authority and community members. They form themselves into a board, a legal entity, to drive the application process and the spending of the money allocated to it. The second is the evaluation committee, which is made up of individuals who have an expertise in various sectors relevant to the Leader program. The third is the lead implementing partner. This partner works with applicants to develop their funding applications, accept the applications for funding, and assist in the evaluation process. It is a local office within a county or region. Lastly, there is the lead financial partner. This partner, which is sometimes the same partner as the lead implementing partner, administers the payment of the grant to the program beneficiaries and may have the responsibility to conduct the administrative controls on the programs. Leader has 3 themes and a number of sub-themes. The first theme is economic development, enterprise development and job creation. In this, it looks at rural tourism, enterprise development, rural towns and broadband. So these are the sub-themes. Theme 2 is social inclusion. The sub-themes here are basic services, targeted at hard-to-reach communities and rural youth. Theme 3 is rural environment, and the sub-themes here are protection and sustainable use of water resources, protection and improvement of local biodiversity, and the development of renewable energy. Note that in Leader there is particular attention given to applications that would address cross-cutting issues such as environment, climate change, innovation, and bringing the benefits to the rural communities. The Local Development Strategy, or LDS, is important in the context of Leader because the LDS determines local needs. This strategy is developed in consultation with communities, often driven by local authorities, and funding decisions made by the LAG, or the Local Action Group, will be affected by the LDS. The LAG makes its decisions which are best suited to address local needs as determined by the Local Development Strategy. This slide looks at who is eligible for Leader support, and it is those who are living or located in the area where they are applying, and it is any rural business, rural community, rural organisation within that area. We give an example of a range of entities that could be successful and appropriate applicants for Leader funding. When we consider what is eligible, we're looking at projects that link to the Leader themes and sub-themes as explained earlier, and also projects that are in line with the strategy, the Local Development Strategy. So we give a list of some of the types of assistance that are eligible. You will see from these that capital costs, development of innovative products, support for networks, for marketing and training, feasibility support, and various types of cooperation projects are eligible for funding applications. There are also ineligible sectors, and this slide looks at ineligible sectors and ineligible activities. It is important for an applicant to consider what is ineligible, because putting in an ineligible activity or sector can nullify the application. It is important for an applicant to be aware of the rates of funding available, and this slide presents a matrix of the type of project, the applicant, the maximum rate of aid available, and the maximum funding available. This is important to consider because depending on the applicant, depending on the type of project, the rate of aid is important and may be the ceiling for the amount of funding available, or the maximum funding amount as set may be the ceiling on the amount of funding available. Note as well that there's a minimum allowable grant, and that is currently €1,250. We're going to walk through the 4-step Leader application process. The first is the call for proposals. It may be a targeted call for proposals, for which an expression of interest must be received by the Leader office. Then applicants will attend a grant application workshop, and following that there will be a call for applications. This is stage 1 in a 4-step process. The second stage is the evaluation process, which is when the application is completed, the receipt of the application by the leader office, its formal assessment through the evaluation committee, and the project evaluation as required by that committee. This leads us to the third stage. The third stage is decision and contract, where the local action group will make a decision, a contract will be issued, and the project will start implementation following the agreement and signing of the contract. This leads to the fourth stage. The fourth stage is payment and monitoring. In this stage, the project receives the payment according to the schedule agreed, and when the project has been implemented, it is susceptible to department and European audits. This is done on a random basis to check funding and is part of the monitoring process. This summarizes the 4 stages in the application for leader funding. In more detail, the stage 1 is the expression of interest, or the EOI. Proposals can be time limited or targeted, or may be on a rolling basis. At the leader workshops, you will find out which is applied in your area. In all cases, an expression of interest must be completed for each project to check its eligibility before it moves on to stage 2, which is the leader application. Stage 2 is the application, and if the proposal based on the EOI is eligible, then it progresses to the application. The group who are making the application will receive the application form and guidance notes. Note that the completion of an application is no guarantee of a positive outcome, even though a group may be invited to make an application. Stage 3 is the evaluation, where the project applications are assessed by the independent evaluation committee that we referred to earlier. This evaluation committee is made up of individuals who have an expertise in the area, and the recommendations of this committee are sent to the local action group, or the LAG, for their approval or rejection. In this slide, we present some of the criteria that are used in deciding whether a project proposal is being recommended for acceptance or rejection. Stage 4 is the decision making. So if the project is approved, a letter of offer is issued, but the project can only commence when the letter of offer and the contract are accepted in writing by the applicant. If projects applications are rejected, the applicant has the right to appeal. In this slide, we present more information about the leader application process. We present information about leader application in Ireland and across the European Union. And we also present a site where you can look at the various local action group databases. This brings us to the end of the presentation of content. We hope that you have found this information of use to you, and that you are clearer about what leader is, what it funds, and what is the application process. We now ask you to check your knowledge in the following 2 slides. We're going to ask you 2 questions. What are the 3 priorities of the leader program? And question 2, working capital is eligible for leader funding. Do you know the answers to these questions? If so, you will be able to check if you are correct in the next slide. We also give you a task, which is to find out how much funding is available with your local action group and what the planned allocation of that funding is in the coming years, depending on the needs identified in the local development strategy that we referred to earlier. So the answer to the first question is the leader priorities are: number 1, to promote social inclusion; number 2, to address poverty; and number 3, to promote economic development in rural areas. You can see this in slide 5. Question 2 asks if working capital is eligible for leader funding, and the answer is it is not eligible, and you can check this on slide 11. We hope this content has been interesting for you.